Hey guys, and welcome back to another brand new video, and today I'm here in the West Midlands as I'm here at none other than the West Midlands Safari Park. I'm very excited because I love animals and it's going to be so interesting seeing all those cool animals like giraffes, lions, rhinos, all of those really cool stuff. But anyways, let's get into it.
Starting off our day, we headed to their safari drive-thru and headed to the African plains where we came across multiple southern white rhinos. Southern white rhinos are a subspecies of the white rhino and is the most common and widespread subspecies of the rhino. They live in grasslands, savannas and shrublands of southern Africa, ranging from South Africa to Namibia. 98.5% of southern white rhinos live in 5 countries: South Africa, Namibia, Zimbabwe, Kenya and Uganda. The southern white rhino is one of the largest and heaviest animals in the world and has a distinctive flat, broad mouth that it uses for grazing. There were 6 rhinos in total. 3 of them were sunbathing, 1 was grazing on some grass and a mother was nurturing its calf. As we carried on, we came across a herd of common elands. They are the second largest antelope in the world, just after giant elands. Mainly a herbivore, its diet consists of grasses and leaves. Common elands form herds of up to 500 animals but are not territorial. The common eland prefers habitats with a wide variety of flowering plantations such as savanna, woodlands and open and montane grasslands. It is native to Angola, Botswana, the Democratic Republic of Congo, Eswatini, Ethiopia, Kenya, Lesotho, Malawi and a few other countries. I was confused when I first saw these as I couldn't figure out what they seemed to look like. We all agreed that it looked like it had the head of a deer but the bulk of a cow. Anyways, along with these was a tired-looking rhino and 2 waterbucks, another species of antelope. We then came across some ostriches, the largest, most dangerous and heaviest birds in the world. They also laid the largest bird eggs in the world. Common ostriches prefer open land and are native to the savannas and Sahel of Africa, both north and south of the equatorial forest zone. In southwest Africa, they inhabit the semi-desert or true desert. Their eyes are said to be the largest of any land vertebrate, 50 millimeters in diameter, helping them to see predators at a great distance. When we saw them, I was amazed at how huge they were. They reminded me of a dinosaur called Gallimimus, and they had a ton of feathers around their bodies. We also saw a few bantengs sitting amid a small field. As we headed towards the lions, we came across some African wild dogs, the largest canines in Africa. There are around 6,600 adults left in the wild, and these carnivores tend to hunt in packs and are natural competitors to both African lions and spotted hyenas. We eventually came across a pride of 5 African lions consisting of 3 lionesses and 2 lions who were resting on top of a massive rock that had a lion's head sculpted into it. Lions are the only big cats whose males and females look different to each other, as males are larger and have a more prominent mane. They live in scattered populations across sub-Saharan Africa. The lion prefers grassy plains and savannas, scrub bordering rivers and open woodlands with bushes. It rarely enters closed forests. When we saw them, I was intimidated by their elegant bodies and stern looks. Lions look beautiful in the books that I read, so it was no surprise that these animals look just as majestic up close. We also got a glimpse of a white lioness. I have seen white tigers, but it was amazing to see white lions for the first time. We also saw a blessed bog antelope amid some very thick grass. These amazing animals were recently added to the park and are native to South Africa, Eswatini and Namibia. They are found in large numbers in all national parks or grasslands. As we moved on, we were stopped by many hoofed animals. These included Barbary sheep who were trotting down the road as many faces, including mine, watched them through their windows. They are a species of caprine native to the Rocky Mountains of North Africa. There were also some more blessboks and some formosome sea deer, which can only be found in Taiwan. We moved on to the realm of the Indian rhino, and guess what we saw? Indian rhinos, of course. The Indian rhino or greater one-horned rhino is the second largest species of rhino after the white rhino. They are grazers and their diet is mainly grass, but may also include twigs, leaves, branches, shrubs, flowers, fruits and aquatic plants. The Indian rhino is a largely solitary animal, only associating in the breeding season and when rearing calves. They can be found in the terry grasslands of southern Nepal, northern Uttar Pradesh, northern Bihar, northern West Bengal and in the Brahmaputra Valley of Assam. Living alongside the Indian rhinos was a herd of barasingers. The barasinga, also known as the swamp deer, is a deer species distributed in the Indian subcontinent. Its name means 12-horned in Hindi. Mature stags usually have 10 to 14 tines and sometimes have been known to have up to 20. They are grazers, mainly feeding on grasses and aquatic plants. These are really cool to look at, especially the antlers of the males due to the amount of tines on them. As we drove away from the rhinos and deer, we came across some more bantangs and also a Philippine spotted deer, a small endangered primarily nocturnal species of deer found in the rainforests of the Visayas Islands of Panay and Negros. We then saw lonely Ankoli cattle. The Ankoli cattle is a breed of African cattle belonging to the Broadsanger cattle grouping of African breeds. It is distributed in much of Eastern and Central Africa, particularly in Uganda, the Democratic Republic of Congo, Rwanda, Burundi and parts of Tanzania. As we drove on the road, we saw two species of zebra, that being the Burchell's zebra and gravy zebra. Burchell's zebra is a southern subspecies of the plain zebra. Gravy zebra is the largest living wild equid and the most threatened of the three species of zebra. We were so close to my favourite animal, but before we met them, we saw a herd of Bactrian camels. The Bactrian camel is a large camel native to the steppes of Central Asia. The Bactrian camel is the largest mammal in its native range and are migratory animals. Did you know that the coat of the Bactrian camel can withstand cold as low as negative 30 degrees Celsius in winter to 50 degrees Celsius in summer? We finally came to a stop at my favourite animal, that is, the elephant. The African bush elephant is the largest living terrestrial animal and is distributed across 37 African countries and inhabits forests, grasslands, woodlands, wetlands and agricultural land. It is a social mammal, travelling in herds composed of cows and their offspring. It is a herbivore, feeding on grasses, creepers, herbs, leaves and bark. Their massive tusks are actually their teeth, making their teeth the biggest of any animal. As I saw them, I sprang out of my seat and a huge smile appeared on my face. I absolutely love elephants and I believe that they are truly elegant. Last but not least, we came across some Rothschild giraffes. As they lumbered in between the cars, I felt belittled by the sheer size of them, which makes sense considering they are the tallest animals in the world. In fact, it felt like a dinosaur was walking past me. I actually got to touch one on its nose, which was very special. Anyways, it is one of the most endangered distinct populations of giraffe. Isolated populations of Rothschild giraffes live in savannas, grasslands and open woodlands of Uganda and Kenya. Fun fact, did you know that a giraffe's kick is so powerful it can kill a lion? I had a fantastic experience whilst I was in this drive-thru and I enjoyed meeting animals that were both familiar and new to me. If you come to the West Midlands Safari Park, you have to book a trip to go through this drive-thru. It is so worth it.
So we just finished going around the drive-thru and it was amazing because the animals look so cool. Just like you just got to see them, and then some of those animals like the rhinos and the giraffes and like all the deer, they would walk through the cars, which was really cool. I actually managed to touch a giraffe's nose, which was wow, that was shocking. And the elephants, in general all the animals were amazing. But now we're gonna go inside this safari park, the other section, which is it's got other activities. So like you get to see sea lions, penguins, you also get to look at dinosaurs and like prehistoric animals. But anyways, yeah.
As we went through the entrance, we were greeted with a few restaurants, an ice cream parlour, a candy store and a massive gift shop, at which I bought a cool lion fridge magnet. We soon came across some humboldt penguins. They reside in South America along the Pacific coast of Peru and Chile and predominantly feed on pelagic schooling fish. If you're wondering why they look so brown, it is because they're molting, meaning that they're replacing the old feathers, but don't worry, this is a natural process. Afterwards, we went and had a look at an Ice Age exhibition with live animatronics. We walked inside a volcano that was making sound and grumbling. You could actually feel the vibrations of the replicate volcano, and when you looked down, you could see some artificial lava passing below you. We then came across an Embolotherium, an ancestor of the rhino, a Chalicotherium, and the tallest rhino and mammal to have ever existed, that is the Paraceratherium. Although it is a species of rhino, the Paraceratherium looks a lot like a giraffe. We then came across a massive bird called the Phorusrhacos and two mammals called Entelodont and Platybelodon. The Entelodont looked like a killer warthog and the Platybelodon looked like a mini elephant with a massive face. We clambered up a small path and soon came face to face with a giant ground sloth, which is also known as a megatherium. The megatherium lived in South America and was a browser that fed on the foliage and twigs of trees and shrubs using a black rhinoceros-like prehensile upper tip. Despite its large body size, megatherium was widely thought to have been able to adopt a bipedal posture, at least while standing, which allowed it to feed on high-growing leaves. Hiding in the trees next to the megatherium was a glyptodon that was an ancestor to our current armadillos. We saw a jaguar and a Komodo dragon, which is a lizard and not a dragon, by the way, before we saw a pair of Macrauchenia, an extinct large ungulate that lived in South America. This creature was around the size of a camel and had a tapir like proboscis, which is a bit like a trunk. Soon after, we saw a cave bear that was standing on its hind legs, and after a close inspection, I realised that I might actually be taller than one of these creatures, although I wouldn't stand a chance against it in a fight. Next to the cave bear was a massive scene made up of 3 animals, the woolly mammoth, the woolly rhino and the cave lion. Starting off with the woolly mammoth, it is an ancestor of the Asian elephant. However, they were big, being around the same size as an African elephant. Next up, the woolly rhino is an ancestor to the Sumatran rhino. The woolly rhinoceros was covered with long thick hair that allowed it to survive in the extremely cold harsh Rama steppe. Finally, the cave lion was native to Eurasia and northwest North America, and it was a distinct species genetically isolated from the modern lion. We then went through the bottom of the artificial volcano, which had many artifacts such as bones, caveman tools and even a mammoth skull with 2 massive tusks. It took us a few minutes before we got to the end of the Ice Age exhibition. We went back millions of years before the Ice Age when we went to the Land of the Living Dinosaurs exhibition. This exhibition also had animatronics just like the Ice Age exhibition. When we went inside, we first saw a mural depicting the story of our Earth, from the way it was created to the dinosaurs eventually when us humans appeared. We were transported to the Permian era that happened before the dinosaurs first appeared, where we saw Lystrosaurus, a herbivore therapsid that lived in what is now Antarctica, India, China, Mongolia, European Russia and South Africa, and also a Dimetrodon, a quadrupedal creature with a sail on its back that is the most well-known creature from the Permian Empire. We soon went to the Triassic era, where there were a few scenarios going on. We first witnessed a pack of Coelophysis hunting down a much larger and terrified Camelosha, which looked a lot like the iguanodon from the Cretaceous period. There was also a Plateosaurus roaring as it stood on its hind legs. The Plateosaurus was the first dinosaur that I learnt about that was from the Jurassic period. Finally, we saw an Eoraptor that fiercely showed its teeth at us, although Eoraptors are supposed to be tiny compared to this animatronic. We went straight to the Jurassic era as we saw 4 major dinosaurs from the time period, starting off with the most well-known of the 4 due to their distinctive combination of broad upright plates and tail tipped with spikes. Stegosaurus is one of the most recognizable kinds of dinosaurs. Next up was the predator of the Stegosaurus, that is the Allosaurus. Allosaurus was at the top of the food chain and probably preyed on large herbivores with the possibility of hunting other predators. Then there is the Mamenchisaurus, the type of sauropod known for their remarkably long necks. Finally, Dilophosaurus was one of the earliest large predatory dinosaurs. We carried on where we saw a crocodile before we were humbled by the sheer size of an Apatosaurus. Apatosaurus was a large sauropod dinosaur that lived in an area that is now North America. Just at the riverbank and next to the Apatosaurus was a Sarcosuchus, an ancestor of the crocodile that is much larger and had a much stronger biting force. There was also an Oviraptor with some real fossilized eggs and a display to compare different sized eggs. We then went to the Cretaceous period where we saw a chunky Ankylosaurus and also a recreation of that one scene from Jurassic Park. As we walked around, we were dwarfed by the giant sauropod, the Argentinosaurus, a titanosaur that was one of the largest land animals that ever exist. We soon came across the 3-horned Triceratops, one of the most recognizable of all dinosaurs and the best known ceratopsian, and also Protoceratops, the main source of food for the well-known Velociraptor. We came across a Pachycephalosaurus and an iguanodon before we stared at the mighty Tyrannosaurus rex. Like other tyrannosaurids, Tyrannosaurus was a bipedal carnivore with a massive skull balanced by a long heavy tail. It is still among the largest known land predators, with its estimated bite force being the largest among all terrestrial animals. The Tyrannosaurus rex is also the most popular of all dinosaurs. We went under a rocky ledge where Quetzalcoatlus was perched on top of it. There were a few more surrounding a small pond, but don't think they are innocent. They were predators of the sky and would often scavenge. Even on land they were as tall as giraffes. Next to these terrifying reptiles was the Spinosaurus, the longest known terrestrial carnivore. After exiting the exhibition, we walked around the Safari Park's theme park. There were many rides around the theme park, and these rides were all age inclusive, ranging from small kids rides to roller coasters, a log flume, dizzy rides, and many more. There were also games that you could play to win prizes such as teddies and toys. Of course, these were all animal themed, but some of them being elephants, giraffes, rhinos, lions, and more. Finally, before we left, we went to the Hippo Lake, where we saw many rocks in the water, only to realize that they were the massive bodies of hippos as we saw one waddle out of the water. The hippopotamus is a large semi-aquatic mammal native to sub-Saharan Africa. After elephants and rhinoceroses, the hippopotamus is the next largest land mammal. Hippos inhabit rivers, lakes, and mangrove swamps. Territorial bulls each preside over a stretch of water and a group of 5 to 30 cows and calves. Despite its stocky shape and short legs, it is capable of running 30 kilometers an hour over short distances. They are also considered the most dangerous animal in the River Nile. Maybe they're not so innocent anymore.
So I just finished going everywhere, including the drive-thru and also this whole large area with the amusements and Ice Age and dinosaur stuff, etc, etc, and I had a fantastic experience. It was amazing here and I loved the animals, loved everything that I saw. Highly recommend it. But anyways, thank you for watching this brand new video. I do hope you enjoyed it. Please do make sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.